What an idyllic plunge pool. The invaders.
Cat's putting a hat on again in case you're keeping count.
God, it's the spirit of Gelert. It is the most beautiful village.
Fresh exploration.
The faithful hound. Treasure! Don't kill me, Twag. Hello.
Hi.
This is Kerry.
And this is Kat.
And
we are Tea in Valhalla. Join us again today in sublime Snowdonia National Park.
You do. We are in Beddgelert, and as you can see today, there is a lot of cloud up on the mountains. So we decided to have a bit of a low-level ponder, but we're also going to go and see Dinas Emrys. But we'll tell you all about its legend when we get there. But first, we're going to check out this beautiful village of Beddgelert, and we're going to go see Gelerts Grave as well, which is obviously what Beddgelert is named after, is Gelerts Grave.
And we're right next to the River Glaslyn as well.
The Glaslyn is at the heart of Beddgelert. It's also caused a few issues because it does have a tendency to flood. Slightly further down the Glaslyn, it is used for recreational sport, isn't it?
Yeah, rapids, canoeing, white water,
Kayaking.
probably quite a high grade. I'm going to take you into the village first before we take you over to see Gelerts Grave. It's nice and quiet at the moment because it's relatively early, so
Glaslyn Bridge, created at the Glaslyn Foundry. Amazing, built 1951. I've decided it is the most beautiful village in the entire world. I haven't seen them all, I don't need to.
this shop here is Beddgelert Woodcraft, and
Look at these owls.
look at this.
Oh, I love that. How many times they've won like the environmental improvement, and Wales in bloom,
Look at that, yeah.
Britain in bloom, even Europe in bloom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very prized and championed village.
Beddgelert is a really good hub if you're a tourist in the area. You see the Prince Llywelyn over my shoulder there. Obviously got the Royal Goat on the other side, great big hotels. Lots of food, bistros, very tourist friendly. Another pub here.
You can see why this village is held in such high regard. All the love and care that goes into its hanging baskets and floral displays just throughout the village. It's just beautiful. So they've recycled an old beacon here and turned it into kind of a hanging basket.
Take a little wander over the old bridge. These little indents that you always see in these older bridges, that was so pedestrians could get out of the way of carts, horses and carts. It's lucky because we still need them to get out of the way of cars now though, isn't it? Ooh, the ice cream shop. Ooh, the Glaslyn ice cream shop.
Lots of very welcoming bars, cafes, restaurants throughout the village. I have managed to lose Kat somehow though. Such a tiny little village, and I managed to lose Kat, so give me a second.
The information centre for the local area. The Snowdonia tourist information area. Very handy. Bit of information on here. Moel Habog, there looking at us. Sitting over us, you can't see it at all. Just cloud. You would normally see a towering mountain right there. Looks over the whole village normally.
So that was a whistle-stop tour of Beddgelert, and we're now going to take you over to Gelerts Grave.
So the village is slightly more sprawling than that. It goes down
Yes.
2 other split off roads, but they're mostly residential homes. So here we are at Gelerts Grave. This stone and these beautiful trees. Prince Llywelyn of North Wales had a palace here. He enjoyed hunting and went out one day and did not take his faithful companion Gelert with him. When he returned, he noticed that Gelert was covered in blood, dishevelled, and he could not see his baby son anywhere. He panicked, started searching for him, and in his grief and fear believed that Gelert had killed his son. And he struck Gelert down with his sword, killing him instantly. But then he heard the crying of a child. When he ran to find his son, he realised that the child was fine, absolutely fine. However, there was a dead wolf next to the boy. And he realised that actually Gelert had saved his child by attacking and killing the wolf. Now, Llywelyn was so upset at his rash and upsetting action by killing his best friend, his faithful friend, that apparently he never smiled again. And he created this area and he buried Gelert here and named the village after the grave. Beddgelert, meaning Gelerts Grave, and immortalised the area forever. 13th century Prince Llywelyn of North Wales. And you can see that it's quite an important spot. People will leave offerings and flowers and little trinkets and mementos. A place of reflection, both on the history and culture of a place, but also perhaps on your own behaviour. A little bit of a ruin over here, but inside is a nice little treat, something I've always loved to see when I come here. I just think it's I don't know, almost lucky. I almost feel like Gelert will be following you around, giving you a bit of protection. You never know. There he is, look. Hello, Gelert. Isn't that wonderful? And you can see how many people come up and rub him as well, look. His back is almost smooth from the rubbings. So people come up and they actually pet him. The faithful hound. I think this ruin is just part of the farms here. But it's lovely that they've immortalised Gelert in physical form for people to sort of understand the story and, you know, connect with it a bit better. Because you can see just how many people pet and rub Gelert, you know, like he's a living, sentient thing.
It's beautiful, actually.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I can sense emotion, I can feel compassion and the love for Gelert.
Yeah. Strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a very well done sculpture because it does have a lifelike quality to it. Okay, come on then you. So, I would like to head towards the church and see if it's open. Sometimes these places aren't. They are locked up and someone will have and a custodian normally within the village will have a key. Let's go and have a try. I'd like to see if I can see inside. Religious buildings are very good for providing sort of historical information. So I always like to have a little look, even if it's just to satisfy my own curiosity. Gelerts Grave, ah. Lovely St Mary's Church, apparently an Anglican church. But it looks like it's part of the mountain itself, doesn't it? Blends in. Not very ornate, so someone will have to tell me if that's an Anglican thing. But still, absolutely Very nice, isn't it?
It is like it grew here.
Yeah. And I love seeing the exposed bell as well up there. This window does have a little bit of stained glass, a bit more ornate than the rest of the church. But actually, apart from that, it's pretty minimalist. Let's see if it's open.
Sadly, it's locked, so it's probably access at certain points or times of the day.
It's quite a densely used graveyard. The gravestones and surroundings are slate, as you would expect. Ah, the comfort of a yew tree. So we're now going to head northwest out of the village and just walk along the main road here, not very far, to the start of the trail.
Towards Dinas Emrys.
Exciting! May not be able to see it, but just tucked in behind those bushes is a bright red iron water wheel, and it would have been part of the hardware belonging to the great big mine back there, which is all of this area, the Llywelyn mine. So we've just come off the road and we've come past all of that National Trust gubbins down there. One area was like a works meeting place, and the rest I think looked like little holiday cottages.
Possible holiday cottages, I think, yeah.
Yep, and now we're just following the track, and hopefully then we'll get on to the sort of more rougher terrain. And I'm presuming it's going to be up on here in the end, this mound here, but I'm not sure. So we're finding out together, which is nice, isn't it, Kerry?
Fresh exploration.
It is, yeah, never been here. Question marks getting uncovered.
Just stopped to swap out our fleeces and insulated jackets for our waterproof coats, because the clouds and the rain is descending on us
now. It hasn't stopped
pretty quick. Yeah. Whilst we were in the bags, we stumbled across these little beauties.
Please drink me. Oh, okay.
Oh, all right. Hold on one second. Just talking to the good folk of YouTube. Yakida.
Yakida. Absolutely lush here. And from this position as well, and you can't really pick it up, you can see open mine shafts up on the actual mountain. Quite interesting.
And I think there might be a waterfall or something just around the corner from us as well. So we'll have a little look at that in a second.
What an idyllic plunge pool. Have you ever seen one more perfect? That really would be ideal for a little sort of dip. Got lots of shallow areas to go in on, or if you've got kids, little shallow areas, and then a slightly deeper part in the middle. But very slow flowing, so that really would be ideal. Beautiful. I love the way that the water has shaped this waterfall. Smoothed off all the edges. It looks fantastic. Anyway, I'm going to go over this old Clapper Bridge now. So we're currently still following the Red Our Heritage trail, and the path is pretty well defined. Look, lovely to be out. The rain's only light, but it is constant, so best to have a waterproof on, isn't it? So it's actually quite fitting that we're walking through this almost magical looking ancient grove of trees. Dinas Emrys actually translate to the fortress of Ambrosius. And Ambrosius was Merlin Ambrosius. And the warlord Vortigern, and there was many a siege, many a battle. And one day he sought Merlin out, but he actually planned to kill him as a way of appeasing the gods and finally being able to take this place over without it being besieged. However, Merlin, being magical and all, released the 2 dragons that were kept within a pool within the rock underneath where the castle stood. When he did this, there was a fight between the 2 dragons, one white and one red, fought a deadly battle. Eventually, the white dragon rescinded and ran away, and the red dragon remained, and in fact returned to the pool and back under into the rock. And apparently, one of the legends say this is why the red dragon appears on the flag of Wales today. That it was revered as a magical and a good omen for the Welsh people against the invaders. And Merlin became such a popular and revered person, they renamed this whole outcrop after him, Dinas Emrys, the fortress of Ambrosius, Merlin. And it still has a dragon in it, so that's good. But of course there's stories about how the dragons even became locked up within the mountain. There's lots of fables and stories attached to this area. So the path is a little bit more slimy now, a little bit harder to walk around, but not difficult by any means. And this last little bit is a bit rocky. You just find your way up.
Oh, this is interesting.
A lot of the footprints of the castle are gone now, but some still remain. The grass and the moss keeping it here. There isn't a huge amount of the fortress's footprints left anymore, but there are a few. And the views here are incredible. Even with that mist, the feeling of it is so moody. You can really see quite a distance. We're looking out towards Capel Curig that way. So Moel Sir body's over there somewhere in the clouds, can't be seen, it's too high. Look at this. It's all the mining area there. Look at this. Some of the fortress still shows its footprints. Down here is a little bit more. You can see that some of the areas have been built up. There's a few more footprints within there. You would have an outer wall, maybe more buttressed areas, and then an inner with all of the sort of living areas, barracks, things like that. But look at that. I think that may be the pool that Emrys used, Merlin used, to call the dragons out. I think we better go down there and see. Kerry, can you help me down?
Yeah,
do you want to go see the pool?
I was about to say, I've seen the pool. Is that where Merlin summoned the dragons?
That's where he summoned them out, yeah.
What an absolutely fantastic vantage point this fortress was placed on. Overlooking the surrounding valley. Very inaccessible, very inhospitable. Ideal fortress location.
Perfect spot within the valley to look over both sides.
Yeah.
No one would want to fight a war on the side of these.
No.
This was perfect, really. Drop down within its depths now. We're within the centre of the fortress now, sort of within the lee of it. It's beautiful. Actually, ideal spot. And here it is. This is where the dragon is. This is the dragon's lair within here. There's lots of quite obvious signs of habitation. Lots of sort of shapes, all I can call them, shapes and footprint. That shows obvious attempts of making fire pits and chimneys and, you know, the shapes and areas necessary for just everyday life within the fortress. It's quite eroded, but still got a great feel to it. And obviously they had their own fresh water source, which could obviously make this fortress sustainable on its own, because the land probably wouldn't have been too bad either for growing simple vegetables and maybe even keeping goats or the more primitive sheep types. Lovely feel in here. Even this here, so the Emrys' pool there, and then this phoenix tree, an oak. That's its original tree is this here, which is now dead, and from it grew these 2 phoenix trees. Isn't that fantastic? It does feel really special. I love it. So I think I may have a cup of tea in it. Kerry, should we have a cup of tea in it?
I think so, yeah.
Habitation here has happened over centuries, but some of the oldest from the 1st and 2nd centuries, some of the oldest habitation. There's another legend attached to this place, not just the dragons, but also apparently Merlin hid treasure here. He found it so special and loved this area so much that he hid treasure within a cave here, and only someone who's blonde and blue-eyed will be able to hear the bell that invites them into the cave. So I'm going to be listening out for a bell because I could do with some cash. But then it depends what he thought was treasure.
Exactly.
You know, they always say, don't they, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Fingers crossed for tea, fingers crossed for tea, fingers crossed for tea.
Or a biscuit, I could do with a biscuit. Oh, it'd be a bit mangy now though, wouldn't it?
I'd give it a go.
If it was a rich tea, it'd still taste the same.
What is it? 2
Kerry! Treasure! Oh, what a sensible old wizard. Oh. Tetley.
So you didn't leave a second cup in there then?
I tell you, Merlin, he was sensible. Real sensible.
Very clever man.
He was a bit magic. Because he was a wizard. Anyway, lovely tea.
Yes, cheers.
Tea.
I'm going to work my way down to the pond a minute. I'm going to turn mine into a teleportation spell. See if I can't teleport us back down to that waterfall.
That's a bloody good idea.
Yeah.
Oh. Ah! Kerry, that's the sea. This isn't right.
No.
Oh, that's the one.
Well, that's been our tour today of Beddgelert, Merlin's fortress. It's been fantastic. I've absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
it's
it
been really
sort of
good.
encompasses everything that Snowdonia is.
Yeah.
Legends, myths, beauty,
Mountains,
water,
mines,
mountain, yeah.
you name it.
Yeah. We've had a great time here at Beddgelert. It's been amazing.
What a day, what a day. Give it a little thumbs up, drop us a little comment. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, smashing that bell notification. Until next time, stay safe and well.
And keep enjoying those greens. Spacex. Take care.
Bye everyone.
Bye. Oh my. He's having a wee.